Hey guys, we are done marking the neck, which means there's only one thing left to do. That's to string this sucker up. Right? Let's get our drilling block out of the way, get all of our pens and everything. All we're going to need for this is going to need our nut and our bridge. We're going to need our 3 stoppers for our strings, the strings themselves. Diagonal cutters and pliers are the only actual tools we're going to need for this part of it. So let's get started. We'll open up our pack, the strings. I tune in open A. And so we'll be working accordingly. For me to tune in open A, I use the A string, I use the G string tuned back to an E, and the B string tuned back to an E. You can do it different ways. This is the way I do it because tuning backwards on a string, using a lower tension rather than a higher than it was built for, seems to work out better for me. I've snapped a lot of strings while trying to tune it up. So here we go. We're going to start with the lowest string. Right here, our A string. Get it all out. We're going to start by threading our string stop right through the end. We might want to take a moment as well to erase all these ugly little marks because we won't be able to get to them again. Maybe I made those marks a little bit too noticeable. I'll clean it up later. So, put our string stop on the string, turn our cigar box over, put it up through the hole it's got. There we go. Good. There's one string. We're going to continue to doing the same thing with our B string in the middle. I'm sorry, our G string in the middle. Open it up, thread it through our string stop, and actually stringing these things up is the most tedious part of the whole thing because you actually have to thread the strings and get them onto the tuners and wind them up. There's a little bit of string preparation that has to come along with it as well, but I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. But it's actually the longest and most tedious thing on here other than calculating and marking frets, which I just showed you does not have to be a long and tedious thing. Now I'm able to play anything I want on my guitars because of the accuracy of the marks. That's what makes or breaks an instrument, guys, the ability to actually play it. Alright, so we got our 3 strings on. We're going to move these over to the other side. Start off with the one string that we really want. Right here. I'll move it to the business end so you can see what we're up to. We're going to start here. We're going to tune it this way. It's going to come across our bridge, beyond our string guide, and to this tuner right here. Now we're going to take this tuner, we're going to give it a couple extra inches, right? And then we're going to cut it off. Now, you know what? I'll show you the other way. We're not going to cut it off yet. We're going to go a couple inches past it. We're going to make a right angle. Okay? Go about the width of the pliers, about as wide as your thumb really, and bring it back. And then crimp it down. So what you want is several inches past the tuner, make a right angle, and then another right angle about as wide as your finger, and crimp it back. See what we've got here? We actually have a nice controlled area. We can hold the string here and push it into the tuner. So here we go. We're going to put it through the hole of the tuner. We're going to hold it in place with our finger, and we can hold the rest of it in place with our thumb. We're going to carefully turn it back. Make sure to keep this wing nut tight. Turn it back so it crosses over itself. That's very, very important. Hold it so it stays in place. Turn it around another full time. Work that wing nut again, make sure it doesn't come off, because the direction we're winding in, we're actually loosening it out of the wing nut. Now that's going to work to our advantage later. I'm not going to go into real details right now. See, we just about got tension. We've got 2 good wraps around the string itself. We know that the tension is going to hold it in place. Take your diagonal cutters, bring it from the back, or from this side rather. Cut it off right in the middle of that eye bolt. See? Nice and clean. The string is staying in place. That's good enough for us right now. We'll pull up the second string. From the middle, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go up past our string guide to where we want it to be. We're going to figure out a couple of inches extra, right about, say, here. We're going to turn that right degree, or that 90-degree angle, about the width of our thumb. We're going to turn around and come right back, and we're going to crimp it down so we have a post to wrap around. Right? Nice and easy. Put it through, hold it in place with your right hand, bring it around, and make sure it wraps over. Once you've got it set, make sure you bring in that wing nut. Okay? Never said this part was easy. It's not all that hard. You just have to get used to it. So we're going to turn it in a little bit more. Take that wing nut in. We want to make sure that we're going over top of this string, the string post we made. Alright? And just work it along. Every chance I get, I'm going to make it overlap the string. Okay? You have to be very manual with it. You have to be really conscious of it, because if that wing nut comes loose, it's going to want to back off. But it's not an impossible task. I'm proving that right now. Alright, we got just enough tension on the string. We know where we want it to be. We'll tighten that wing nut about finger tight. We're going to take our diagonal cutters. We're going to cut it off into the eye of the bolt there. That's it. Cool. That's 2 strings down. Let's do the third. Let's do a time check. We're at 7 minutes and 11 seconds, guys. So here's our tuner. Go a couple inches past. Make a right angle. Another one back about the width of my finger. Crimp it down. We have a post to wind around. Put it through. Start bringing that sucker around. You want to make sure to push in nice with this extra bit you've got. To push that post down as far as you can through the eye. Okay? You need to mind that wing nut. Trust me, it takes a little getting used to stringing these up for the first time, but it really is not all that bad. Like any other part of building a cigar box, it takes a little bit of skill and a little bit of patience, and over time, see, it caught a bit of tension. It's staying pretty good right now. Like any other part of building a cigar box guitar, this part too takes just a little bit of patience and a little time, and the skill comes with repetition. But I'm showing you right now, it is very, very possible to do. Now we're going to go ahead and take our bridge that we made. We're going to put it up underneath the strings. If we can. And we're going to sort the strings out. There's our nut. And our bridge is going to go under likewise and get slid down to where it's supposed to be. Right down here. Ta-da! Do we look like a guitar yet, guys? Take the time on that sucker. Let's see, this video is now 9 minutes long, and it's strung up. Cool, we just built a guitar. In the next video, I'm going to tune it up and play it. See ya.